All right, I'm going to show you guys about how to find the best image for your grid drawing. You can use personal photos if you like, but it needs to be a portrait, such as this one right here. Shoulders, hair. We don't want a full body, no full body. But what I need to do is show you how to select a correct size because you want your file to be fairly large so that you're able to get all the details. So one, up here I said large black and white portrait 1200 by 1200. That's the minimum file size that you want to use. When you look for the file size, like with this one, it is 341 by 512. Don't use anything that is that low. So if we come down here, here is another, I really like the tousled hair, but we're in the same situation. We have a low number for a file size. So this probably wouldn't be very clear with what we're doing. You want to make sure that your images are not blurry. So I'm going to try this young lady. Now, this file size is pretty big. Okay, it is 1463 by 2048, so that would be a good size. Now, you're going to be using your observational skills that you learned in semester one, no, the first 9 weeks. You're going to be using the elements, line, value, texture, because hair and sometimes skin, eyebrows have texture. The lips have a texture to it. Shape, form, space, and then eventually the end we're going to add some color. You're going to be blending. You can use just your finger or the blending stump. Photopea.com if necessary. If you need to edit your photo to black and white, your photo must be black and white. We're going to be using Google Draw. You're going to be using a ruler. And then you're going to decide whether or not you want to do portrait orientation or landscape orientation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this image. Make sure that you have saved it in an area where you know where to locate it. And then we're going to switch over to Google Draw. And let me show you real quick about where to find this. So you go to your drive, go New, More, and the first one right here says Google Drawing. So you're going to click. And before you get started doing anything, title your file. I'm going to name it 2D, drawing, grid drawing 2D. So we need to go to the page setup because the page is not the size we need. So we're going to go page setup. We're going to move it down to custom. And for portrait, we're going to do 9 by 12. Okay, now if you're wanting to do landscape, you'll do the same thing, but you will switch these numbers. Okay, it must be 9 by 12 because that's the size of your paper that you're going to be drawing on. All right, so I'm going to switch back to portrait. So now what I'm going to do is I need to put a table in that's going to be 9, and I'm going to go down 12. Now I'm going to grab the table and I'm going to move it up to the very top left-hand corner. You can see where there are 2 red lines on the left side at the very top. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that this table fits this page. So I'm going to grab the corner and I'm going to pull down and pull over to where it fits right on that paper. Now I also want to change the border width. So you can see that those lines became thicker. And I'm also going to change the color because my picture is black and white. And I want to change it to a color so that I'm able to see the individual squares. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this over just a little bit. I'm going to go insert image. You're going to locate your image you're going to do. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to bring it up to the top like I did with the table, and then I'm going to bring it down. You want to make sure that it's fitting, and that's too big. All right, there we go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make this picture transparent. So we're going to go Format, Format Options, Adjustments, and the very first one says Transparency. So if we slide this all the way over, your picture is going to become transparent. And then we're going to take your table and we're going to move it on top of it. Okay. Now, we need to undo the transparency. So we're going to move it over. Now, we've lost the table. Did you see that? So what we need to do is go to Arrange, Order. We want the picture to go back, and there it is. So each one of these blocks is 1 by 1. You are going to have a viewfinder that is 1 by 1. Okay, so you will need, like if you start with this section, you're going to draw this section. When you're finished, what's nice is if you click the square, a little pull down comes, okay? And then once it's selected, you could take your fill color and make it white. So you know, boom, I have that section done, so I'm going to block it out. And then you can keep doing that. Now, when you get to the end and you are completely finished with your drawing, you will need to go back and change that. So you can just hit Control-Z and it will change it. Because you are going to have to submit this image along with your original drawing. Now, these will have to be side by side. I don't care whether it's in a Google Doc, I don't care if it's in slides, but both of them have to be present right next to each other for it to be graded. If it is not, you will only receive about 50%, if that. Okay, so that's going to be very important. Some people did not do that when we did a project like this before with, I believe, the fabric. So you must do that. And make sure that you are observing and drawing what you see. And that is it.